regardless. I think our team will have a good week of practice. We'll get our guys ready to go. And sometimes when you face a loss, it's not very fun. You just learn from it quickly and pick up the pieces and move on. So that's what we're going to do, and try to come out and play as well as we can on Saturday morning.
Jeff, obviously injuries the past 2 weeks have been a really big thing. Which starters do you anticipate being out this week?
Chris Bell will be out, and then we'll try to get some other guys ready that are nicked up that we won't know till the end of the week.
It's always a strange week anyway. It's Thanksgiving week, so you have that holiday in there, and coming off that rivalry, how quickly do you just try and move through whatever happened at SMU and get on with it, or do you spend the regular amount of time going through that tape with players, or how does that work?
No, we had a typical Sunday where we went over the mistakes that we felt we made and what we need to get better at. We didn't shy away from it. There were a lot of things on there that we could all have done better. Now it's about getting our mojo back as we get going for this week and preparing really hard. And even though there's some new pieces out there, that happens every year to a certain extent. So whoever we have available needs to be ready to go and have a great week of practice, and we need to find a way to win with whoever we have on the field.
Jeff, with the injuries that you have had this season, how does this shape your thought process moving forward in terms of getting with Vince and with your roster constructions, like figuring you might need X, Y, Z in terms of depth? And do you know what I'm getting at? Like, just how has this season, the way this season has played out with the injuries and everything, formed how you might put the roster together going forward?
Well, every year's different. We had 2 early bye weeks. We played a lot of games in a row. Unfortunately, we've had quite a few guys get injured. The key we know behind closed doors is whoever our best players are at the beginning of the year, you got to try to keep them healthy all year. And that's a big – we strategically plan that. We work through it. We practice a certain way. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of key guys get injured, but they've all happened during the game. So it's not because of the way we practice. We just unfortunately have had some key guys get injured, and to win against great competition, you need your best players on the field, and when they're not available, you have to have those next line ready to go, and we just got to continue to work through that. I think as you're building a roster, you got to use your resources properly to build your team, and you got to use what you can to get that done. And sometimes you can't. Getting 3, 4, 5 deep at certain spots is maybe not realistic. But we got to continue to recruit young talent, develop young talent, and just make sure we practice all of our guys year round like they're going to get ready to play, and they need to handle it that way themselves.
Jeff, what is the morale of the team? You have the losing streak going on. You've had so many injuries. Just what is the morale of the team, and how much could a win Saturday change all of that?
Well, anytime you lose, it's not fun. Excuse me. And especially when you lose a couple in a row, it's not fun, and it's not supposed to be. At this time last year, we had the same record that we have right now, and it's what you do with the games ahead of you. So we've got a good Kentucky team coming in that's won 3 of their last 4, that's playing well. They'll get a chance to play in front of our home fans and show what we're made of, and show how we can bounce back. And then you progress to the postseason play, and you try to put your best performance together there and finish the season strong. So it's up to us right now, how we handle that and how we move forward. But I expect our guys to practice well and play well.
Jeff, can you talk about Kentucky and what you see specifically offensively with what they've done over the course of the last month or so, and maybe what's different?
Well, you can tell that Cutter Boley is playing very well. He's playing confident. He's definitely got his feet in the ground, knowing what he's doing. He's got some mobility. He can spread the ball around. He can see the field, and really the offense runs through him. So he's somebody that we got to do a good job of, and make sure that we disguise some things, put pressure on them, get after the quarterback. All those things have to happen. I think for us, you know, we need our defense to, defend him well, and we need our offense to step up and score points.
Jeff, I was curious if you expect maybe Miller Moss to be potentially available for this game, but even if he is, would you potentially roll out Deuce Adams out there again, even if Miller Moss is available?
Well, we're going to try to get Miller healthy. He's got an injury he had. We'll try to get him healthy. I could see multiple quarterbacks possibly playing again. Yes.
Jeff, when you go through so many injuries, as you talk about, how do you? It's one thing to have the next guy ready, and then when that's what everybody wants to have. But when it's the third and fourth guy down the list that keep getting injured, how do you keep guys focused and keep guys ready to go in practice? Like say at running back, when the other day Sean was in the game and everybody else was injured. How do you kind of keep other guys ready and motivated?
Well, we are a little bit low than what we have been before. It is what it is. But you know what? Whoever's available and able to practice this week, we got to practice, and we got to put in the work, and we got to work at it, and we got to put a plan together that utilizes our weapons as well as we can. And then we've got to be aggressive in how we attack. I think we're at a point where playing conservative, controlling the ball, playing good defense. We may need to crank that up a little bit and take some more chances and just allow these guys to go play.
It just feels like when you get in a situation, there's just no margin for error. If you have to settle for a field goal in the red zone, it's bad. And you didn't even have that many penalties Saturday, but every one hurt you in some way. How much pressure does it put the guys that are just playing under that they there's no Isaac Brown to kind of make something look better or something like that?
Well, creating big plays and quick strikes is important to winning a game. We have not been able to do that, and I think we have to figure out a way to come up with something to get us some easier touchdowns where we don't have to have long, sustained drives. At the same time, when we do, we've got to execute on third down. We can't have key penalties. Those things set you back, unfortunately. And then we have had some untimely things happen to us that have set us back and put us in a hole. So we got to dig ourselves out of it. We've looked at it, we've analyzed it, but we've still got to, we've talked about it. We go over it. We just still got to continue to work through it and try to play a better game.
Brian, what when you look at the film from Saturday, what do you see with Deuce and obviously his first time out there and his first time in the road? How do you kind of evaluate it and what do you work on with this week, not kind of knowing what he's going to happen on Saturday?
I think for Deuce, I think it was a promising first start. He did some things that you can build on. Coming in as a redshirt freshman, your first real live action. He hasn't got a ton of action up to that point. I thought he was composed. I thought he handled the offense well. Thought he got in and out of the huddle. Made a couple big-time throws, the corner out to Collins and down the sideline to Bell. Didn't make any major mistakes. There were a few plays, as you're going to have in every game, where would like to seen him pull the ball on a seam or on a skinny post, maybe one high throw. But I thought overall it was a good first start for him, something to build on. Obviously, the game, the way it played out, they were holding the ball on offense, continuing their drives, and a lot of it came down to third downs. They converted on third downs, and we didn't. So they kept the ball longer and scored points, and our drive stalled out. But so you would like the game to have played out better and got them in more situations. We didn't really run many plays on offense throughout the game, but his just performance as you watch the film, was pleased with what he did. I think there's some stuff to build on for the future.
Brian, kind of a two-part question. Injuries obviously have been really bad for you guys this year. I mean, 3 different starting running backs.
Yeah.
Jeff just said Chris Bell will be out. Miller obviously had a situation. How do you, I guess, just salvage what you have or what this room would look like moving forward, and who's kind of, do you see stepping up for Chris in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's football. There's years where you're going to have a bunch of injuries, years where you're going to be lucky and not have as many, or you're going to have years where certain position groups are going to get hit. Sometimes, we've been, knock on wood, pretty good up front where we haven't had many injuries, but it's hit our skill position players this season. So every year you're going to have to adjust to those things. You want to build your roster where you have depth at all positions where you can sub those guys in. But as coaches, we have to find ways to, scheme up for the players that we have for that week. And whatever it takes to get it done. So, we're always adjusting. We're always trying to be innovative, try to do new things. But you're always going to have to see what personnel you have available that week and build the game plan around those players. So, week to week, that can mean different things. But that's our job as coaches to make sure that, with the guys we have, that we have the best game plan ready for them for the game.
Kind of the same thing, really. I guess I'm asking you to sort of expound on it. But with what you've got out there, do you feel sort of handcuffed with your options and what plays you can call?
We shouldn't feel handcuffed. I think, you when you lose some important pieces, you got to be a little bit more creative sometimes. You got to lean on certain players that maybe you weren't counting on to lean on in the beginning of the year. They got to step up and make plays. But you like to think that your standard is your standard for your players, and try to get them all to come up to that level of what you expect from each position. So, I don't think we should feel handcuffed. I think we might have to be creative, but we got players that can make plays, and you got to find ways to get them the ball and let them do it.
I think a lot goes into this question because passing production from October to September, October, November has kind of gone down, and some of that you change the way you play. If Isaac's healthy, you're not going to maybe throw for as many yards. But what's been your assessment in the last month of the passing game? What do you like? What's frustrated you about it? And just on where it is.
Yeah, I think just in general passing game wise, we've. We had some success with some more ball control, shorter passes, get some run after the catch early on in the year. And, we've continued some of that trend where we're going a little bit more to the quick game and getting it out quick and a little more ball control type of plays. So I think as we look back and look at it, I think being able to stretch the field is important. We need to be able to take some more shots. Both calling the shots and the quarterbacks being more aggressive to take those shots.
to get the ball down the field. But you know, as you look at, obviously this past week we had 100 yards passing. That's going to bring the number way down. But I think just being a little bit more aggressive in the pass game as we look forward to make sure we're taking those chances and those shots down the field to get some more big plays. We've really been, just in general this past month, pretty low on the explosive play meter, whether it's run game or pass game, and we just got to find a way to generate more big plays.
If you do get Miller back, and Jeff said he's not sure, and you know we could see multiple guys this week. How do you do that? How do you manage? And you did it in college where you played a little bit. How do you manage a couple of guys when you're putting it out there? And how did you kind of do it the other day? You know, with Brady.
Yeah, we've had a lot of experience. You know, playing multiple quarterbacks. I think in general, you would like to always be where you have your guy and he's the guy, and we're going with one quarterback the whole time. But we've done it in the past quite a bit. I think you talk back to when Jeff played for Howard Schnellenberger. Coach Schnellenberger always put the backup quarterback in the second quarter to give him experience, to try to work for the future as well as the current time. You know, when I was here as a freshman, I got in the second quarter all but one game my freshman season, and Stephon LaFour's, you know, he had the highest quarterback rating in the country. He was playing some really good football. So there's definitely some precedent set to where we've played multiple guys at Purdue. We had multiple times where we played two quarterbacks, one the first quarter, one the second quarter, and we chose at halftime who was going to play the rest of the game. So there's definitely different ways to do it. I think these guys have been getting a lot of reps all year. You know, now obviously the other guys got some experience. I think going into last game, we wanted to give, you know, Deuce and Brady. I always rep three quarterbacks within our reps of ones and twos. So they've been getting equal reps. They've been competing for that backup spot pretty much every single day. I grade every single rep they take in practice that's competitive, every single rep in scrimmage. We try to put that grade together and see where they're at, and they're very close. But we thought Deuce gave us a little bit better chance. But you're never 100% sure until they play in games. You know, we don't tackle quarterbacks in practice. So some guys are gamers, some guys are better in practice. So a lot of times, you know, you don't get preseason games in college football either. So it's good to get them out there and see the game experience. So our thought was to give Deuce the first two series. We're going to give Brady a series and see kind of how that went and decide on how we're going to play it out after that. And we thought Deuce had a really good first drive. They both went 3 and out in the next two series, so we kind of rolled with Deuce. And at the end of the game, it got away, so we put Brady back in, give him some reps for the future. But, you know, same way. You know, you'll prepare both of them. There'll be certain plays. They all can run the full offense. There might be certain plays, especially if, you know, depending on how full go Miller will be. If he's 100%, is he 90%? Can he fully run? Is he, you know, what exactly is he? There might be certain plays that are better suited for the other guys to get in there. But, you know, as I told even Brady, when you're doing that 2 quarterback deal, sometimes it is an advantage to see what's going on from the sideline. You know, I stressed to him, hey, watch the first 2 drives, and you'll get to see what the defense is doing before you go out there. You get to feel the flow of the game a little bit. So sometimes it's an advantage. And I've even talked to quarterbacks when we've taken them out for a series and put them back in, just that series off to see what was going on from the sideline can be helpful. So there's ways to manage it and make it work, and we try our best to do that.
How has developing that position changed over the years? And anymore, if you have to go to backup, he's somebody else's portal target. I mean, it's a hard kind of balance to get. I know you got to coach up whoever you have, but how is particularly that position and just trying to maintain depth?
You know, I think it's been all positions with the way that college football is now in the portal. You know, you're always trying to make the strongest roster you can at the beginning of the season. So, number one, we're reaching into the portal to get guys, and a A lot of times it's veteran guys that have played, and number two, there's guys on your roster that are going to get in the portal and leave that you've been developing, that all of a sudden that development goes to another program. And that's at every single position. I mean, last year at this time we were, Tyler was the starter undisputed, but I said I rep 3 guys. Bailey and Clarkson were the ones getting the rest of the reps of the first group. So it does change, and both those guys left through transfer portal. So it does make it a little bit more challenging, but we got to always adjust to the times, and we try to give these guys as many reps in practice as we can get, grill them in the film room, and develop them every single day. I always go back to the Aiden O'Connell story at Purdue, developing him, and he came in as a 9th-string walk-on, so he wasn't getting those reps either for quite a while. So that there's really no excuses. Those quarterbacks were in there, we're grinding, we're working every single day, and we should be developing on a path to be getting better every single day. And he's kind of my story of a guy that he wasn't getting hardly any reps for 2 years, and just got better and better and better all the time.
Brian, obviously you've had some success as a player against Kentucky. You guys were able to win the game last year. With just all the different things that have been going on this year with the injuries, losing 3 games straight, how can maybe a rivalry game just infuse some more juice or energy into the team to end the season on a high note?
Yeah, I think a rivalry game, we should always have an extra boost of energy. This game is very important for our program, for their program, for the fans, for the state of Kentucky. We know how big it is. We've played in it, coached in it. It's a huge deal. So to get these guys fired up and ready to play in that game, we should be able to do that. I hope at least offensively we're a little bit angry, a little bit mad about how last week went, a little bit mad about how we kind of been playing lately, and take out some of that frustration on Saturday, and hope we're able to show everybody what we're capable of, what we can do. I think there's a lot to play for in this game, and we'll look forward to getting back in front of the home fans and trying to bring a victory in the Governor's Cup.
Brian, talk about them defensively for a minute, what you see with Kentucky, and then how much can it help? I know playmakers injured, it hurts, but the line, knock on wood, has been healthy, and they're getting better, it seems. How much can that help?
That'll definitely help. I think as you look at Kentucky, they're a good, well-coached defense. They're always well-coached. They do a great job of making you earn it. Last week they gave up some big plays to Vandy, but typically they're not giving up big plays. They're making you drive the football down the field, and that's kind of what we need to get better at, is sustaining the drives and not getting stalled out. There'll be a kind of a challenge right there of making sure we can sustain drives and finish those 8-10 play drives with touchdowns. But they're a good defense. Now they have some injuries as well, so I think both sides, you got some backups that are going to be in there playing, but we'll be testing the depth of our offense. They'll be testing some of the depth of their defense. But I think when you look on film, they play hard. They're playing hard, and they're doing a pretty good job. Last week they also gave a lot of points, and I'm sure they're going to be a little bit mad, a little bit angry, and want to show everybody what they can do. So it should be a good challenge. Yep.
TJ, I know things haven't gone the way you guys want them, but for you Saturday, how special is it going to be? Your family, I assume, and being senior day and everything you've been through, all the good times and ups and downs that you've had here.
It's gonna be real special, I've been here 5 years, and it's been good. I'm just excited to see, how we finish this thing. That's just what I'm telling the guys. Like, you gotta end it on the right note, and do this for us, the seniors, and everybody that's behind us.
Pete, last year it seemed like the offensive line was having a hard time keeping guys healthy. This year it's been the opposite, and you guys have been pretty stable. In that regard, do you kind of feel it's incumbent upon you guys as a group to pave the way for whoever is back there behind you?
Yeah, absolutely. Injuries are part of the game and something that we can't control, obviously. But, our motto is the next man up. So everyone has to prepare to obviously go play the very best football Saturday. And, it just puts more pressure on us. But we like that. We like being the guys that, lead the way and, lead this offense and lead this team.
Just for both of you, I know there's a lot of injuries, but this game has always been weird. I mean, we saw Lamar come in at quarterback and they lose. They have a backup quarterback and Louisville wins. It's one of those anything can happen deals. What's the mood of this group despite all the adversity that you've had lately going into this?
Yeah, I feel like, we're just getting ready. We feel like this is, another opportunity to go out there on the field. And, it's a rivalry week. And we just feel like, if you can't get up for this game, then, like, you really shouldn't be playing ball. So I feel like everybody just getting ready to go out there and win.
Yeah, it's just it's pretty simple. Just beat Kentucky. Find a way to beat Kentucky. When there's a will, there's a way. And anything we're going to do to win this game Saturday, we're going to make sure it gets done.
TJ, so many guys on offense are injured and out. A lot of guys on defense who are injured but continue to try to keep playing, maybe not out of the game. How much do you as a defense take it upon yourself? Like, okay, we have to do a little extra. We got to do a little bit more, maybe in these games.
Yeah, we just feel like as a defense that if it ever, had it come down to that, we can win the game on defense. And we feel like that, going in this week, no matter what has going on the offense or who they may or may not have, like, we feel like every time we step on the field that we got to show what we can do. And, we just got to play complementary football. And, offense is going to help us out. We're going to help them out. So we just got to play as a team.
Pete, obviously Deuce got the start on Saturday. It just seemed like he ran a little more. Is there much of a difference in your opinion blocking for a more mobile quarterback like Deuce or versus Miller? I guess just do you notice any difference in the two?
Not really. We just have to go execute the play that's called. Obviously with Deuce, we might try to do a little more QB run stuff and everything like that. Just given his skill set, but we just got to go execute the play to the best of our ability.
For both of you, I mean, TJ, you kind of answered it, but these senior days can be emotional as you go through this week. I mean, how do you kind of try to keep those? It's a rivalry and senior day. How do you kind of try to keep those emotions in check?
For me, I just feel like this is the reason that we came here to play ball. So we're gonna feel good about senior night and being see our family and stuff. But at the end of the day, we came here to win the game, and I feel like that's just the message that go win the game.
Yeah, we're blessed to be able to play this game, and one of the caveats if you go about this game is you never know when your last snap's going to be. It's a very physical game, and so obviously you treat every game right, as an opportunity, and obviously we have a mission to go, complete the Saturday, beat Kentucky. So maybe some of the emotions will come out after the game, but our team's pretty focused on getting the job done. There you go.